everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Beginner's Guide series. In this series we're going to be going over the Tau today because the Tau are awesome if you like Mech Warrior or Gundam. Tau are, they're just, I really like their aesthetic. So in this series we're going to be going over their strategies. The basic level, this is an intro series. This is for somebody who's brand new coming into the hobby, not somebody who's been in this hobby for quite some time, but for a basic intro into the hobby itself. We're going to be going over their lore, their basic strategies, and what to buy for your first $100 into this hobby. So, what are the Tau? The Tau are a race of blue humanoid / hooved creatures that make up a small empire on the Ultimar Segmentum. They're on the south. Okay? The Tau are a highly advanced and super technological army that prefers long-range combat to short-range or close combat. They believe that close combat is a failure versus their long-range superiority. The Tau encompass many other species into their empire, and are kind of the complete opposite of the Imperium, where the Imperium represents the oppression and tyrannical rule of the galaxy itself. The Tau are more hopeful in their endeavors, but new lore has shown them to be a little bit different. In fact, they might actually be more destructive at this point. The Tau include several different races, but the three most popular that everybody knows is the Kroot, an avian-type humanoid with a large beak that can eat people, eat anything, and gain a certain genetic feature from that thing that they just ate. The Vespid, bug-like humanoids that are completely enslaved due to helmets that they wear. I mean, they're not actually enslaved, but who knows? And the Gavesa. The Gavesa are humans who have allied themselves with the Tau and thrown off the oppression of the Imperium. Though in current lore, the Gavesa are slowly being exterminated by the Tau because of their connection with their psychic abilities. Tau are a newer race in 40k, dating back, I think, only about 4,000 years ago. Their planet was covered with a warp storm, allowing them to rapidly evolve in this one planet, and then from there, once the warp storms were lifted, they started to travel through space, conquering other different worlds. Their method of conquering other worlds varies from propaganda to offerings of peace through and showing them the benevolence of the Tau Empire to their tyrannical rulers. Typically, they do this to imperial worlds, where the Imperials, who have been long since forgotten by the Imperium as a whole, do tend to join the Tau Empire, give them goods in order for them and gain protection from the Tau. But this has caught the Imperium's eye quite a few times. The Tau have bested the Imperium on multiple occasions, including beating the White Scars, beating the Raven Guard, beating the Ork Empire, well, several factions of the Ork Empire, besting the Tyranids, and never really involved with the Eldar. They have one or two stories with them, but they never really interact. So I'm interested to see how that goes. The Tau, as I said before, use advanced technology. They build Gundams, or mech warriors, as you can see here. The Tau technology is more plasma-based than anything else, similar to that of the Imperium. The Tau also use rapid assault techniques and will, if necessary, deploy their Fire Warrior caste, their warriors. This includes the XV suits that you're seeing behind me, and some of their more military class weaponry, though they don't use this as the first line of trying to get a planet to cooperate with them. Typically, they send down propaganda. Then from there, they send down ambassadors, and then they try to take the planet through peaceful means. It's only after those peaceful means have stopped or ceased or are not working that they deploy the Fire Warriors and take the world by force. This is slightly different than how the Imperium does it, as the Imperium tells the world, you now belong to the Imperium, pay tithes. If they don't, they send down entire battalions of soldiers to kill everybody on the planet and take the planet. The Tau, they are crazy, and I absolutely love them. There are some jokes about them that need to stop, like they're weeaboos or they're communistic, when they're actually not. So before I see that in the comment section, please just stop. It's a dead meme. It's old as hell. Stop it. So, their strategy. The Tau themselves, simply put, want the longest ranges possible, usually putting their fire warriors in front of their mech suits in order to maximize the firepower that they get while sacrificing their smaller infantry if necessary. The Tau have little mobility, but the mobility that they have is very quick, with the Piranhas and with some of the Tau suits, the XV8s, being able to rapidly get into position and take objectives. So their main strategy is sit back as far away as they can, point at a target, and tell your opponent to take that off the table because they don't like it anymore. It's just, no, gone. The Tau have weaponry that is capable of killing infantry with ease, as well as weaponry that can kill hard targets and tanks with ease. They do, however, struggle with mid-tier armies, and by that I mean with multi-wound models that are slowly advancing up the table to them. Such as Primaris Marines, they can gun them down, but it takes a little bit longer, as their weapons are more suited for taking out mass infantry or heavy tanks. So they really have to pick their target priorities when it comes to these things. Moving on to what you should buy. The Tau, it's actually pretty simple. Buy the Start Collecting. The Tau Start Collecting is the best Start Collecting there actually is. It gives you a leader, it gives you 2 troop choices, and it gives you an elite as well as some drones. This is an amazing buy regardless of if you're a veteran player or a brand new player. If you're buying for somebody who is into the Tau, buy them a Start Collecting. They will love it, because even if they have 20 suits, getting 3 more is awesome. Getting more drones is awesome. Getting more infantry is awesome. Getting another ethereal is kind of pointless, but I digress. After the ethereal is barely important in this box, you're mostly buying it for the fire warriors and the suits themselves. But let's just say you wanted something to add to this for your first initial purchase. So from there, if you are to buy the Start Collecting and you want a second HQ of some sort or another squad to go along with it, I would highly suggest the Darkstrider or the Cadre Fireblade if I can find him wherever he is, right here. This puts you a little bit above what I said. It puts you at 120, but in all fairness, it is the best way of doing this, because the Cadre Fireblade adds +1 to your shots, the Ethereal can add +1 to your shots, and your Fire Warriors can be pumping out 3 shots a turn at 30-inch range. This means that you'll be pumping out shot after shot after shot, and those armies that have to get to you will more than likely be withered away by the time that they actually get to you, allowing you to fall back from the initial combat or counter assault if you have crude at this point, or just pull back and shoot with your suits into them. The Tau are all about blowing your opponent away, picking a target and hitting it as hard as they can, and neutralizing that target as quickly as possible. So if you were to expand beyond this, or maybe you don't want Fire Warriors, too bad, get Fire Warriors. They're the best. $75 for 3 suits plus $50 for the Fire Warriors themselves. The Start Collecting is just the way to go. If you want a leader to go along with it, I highly suggest Commander Shadowsun. Depending on how you want to build your army, Shadowsun does add quite a bit to the army itself, and she is just a badass model. So, with that all said, that is pretty much it when it comes to the Tau. It's buy the Start Collecting. If you're newer to the game or an experienced player, you're going to want to buy 3 Start Collectings at any point in your collection. Buy a couple of riptides, buy a couple of ghost keels, and go from there. The army is very fun to play because you just get to point at something and remove it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Check out all the links in the description down below. There you can follow me on all sorts of social media, including Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to help supporting the channel, especially right now with this outbreak happening. I am currently out of work, aside from doing YouTube and getting Patreon, and I'm a little bit worried. I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah. If you guys want to support that, that would be awesome, and I'd love you guys forever. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.